And hello. Welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast. It is the Absolutely Premier League show. It's a Tuesday night, and unless you're watching this on a repeat, and then it's not a Tuesday night, it's whatever night you're watching it on, to be fair. But I hope you're having a fantastic week. We're here to talk Premier League, transfers, pre-season transfers, more transfers. I like transfers, but I'm ready for the season. I think we're saying off air, there's just transfers. But we'll cover what we can and we'll talk football because it's lovely. It's lovely to talk football. And what is lovely is look who I have with me tonight. I start with Mrs. Many Pods. Charlotte is on third pod already. We did 2 yesterday. Yeah. How are you doing, Char?
I'm really good, to be fair. You know, I always like coming on here, talking Premier League. I love how everybody's under pressure as well. But in National League, down below at the bottom, we don't have a transfer window. Like, we've got until March. So everyone's stressed, like in the other leagues, and I'm just here all chilled. But yeah, I'm really excited to talk Premier League. It's something different. How are you?
Yeah, it is something different. I'm very excited. I'm very good. Week's been all right so far. And should we drop a little teaser? Because you've been doing, 2 pods yesterday. People will have seen you on the non-league show. But we do have an exciting new series which is coming, which you can't say everything about. We can't we're not even going to give you the guest yet. But do you want to say a little bit about what we're doing on the Women in Football series you've been prepping?
Yeah, so obviously it's something we're really passionate about, not just me, obviously, and the rest of her Game 2 ambassadors that we do have on the team, but everyone as a whole. Yourself, Sam, obviously Ben has helped with hosting duties as well. I had the amazing Drita with me yesterday, and it's just some amazing people, women who were in football. We've had player. I'm not going to give too much away. We have had somebody who is to do with her Game 2 and actually an ambassador as well. We've got some content creators lined up. And it's just basically a little bit of their journeys, like how they got into football, who they support, their experiences, whether it's been good experiences, bad experiences, and just a little bit about how women's football has grown in such a short period of time. We had to mention the Lionesses as well because it's amazing what they do as a whole. And I feel like they're really big role models for not just girls, but my little boy absolutely adores them, especially Ella too. And I'll let you know now, Sam, don't knock him out because I know you do like him. He's only 10.
He's got good taste, what can I say? And he's a United fan, so double win, you know?
Exactly. But it's just showing the importance of what women do bring to football, but also some of the bad experiences that they have had and how her Game 2 is needed and is still needed, and just the amazing work that everybody to do with her Game 2 does as well.
Fantastic. And we're very excited for it. It's been in the works for a little while. It will be out very soon. We're hoping very, very soon, but there is a special announcement that will be coming out with it that we'll let you know soon. So keep an eye on the socials because we're hoping that one will be soon. So very, very exciting. And of course, some very exciting news we had earlier in the summer. The transfer window was blown apart early on because look at the signing that we've made. Heather is officially on for her first podcast as an Absolute Football team member. Heather, welcome as a team member, and how are you?
Thank you. I'm good, thank you. Busy summer. Been away in Switzerland watching the group stage of the Euros.
Love that.
Which was fantastic. And I managed to go to the parade last week, which was good in some ways. There were loads of people there, but they hadn't set it up. I don't think they expected as many people to turn up as they did. And they hadn't put speakers all along, so we couldn't really hear all the speeches and stuff. Had to watch them when I got home.
Well, at least you were there, so you could kind of soak up some of the atmosphere. That's it, and get the details. It's like watching Match of the Day after you've seen the game. So it's just the same now for victory parades as well. But Sophie, lovely summer, lovely to have you with us as well. We'll be having Heather on this season as well, which is extremely, extremely exciting. As is our wonderful chat, who are all coming in, piling in. Spenny fan Chris is here. Evening to Spenny fan Chris. Evening to Graham, and welcomes you officially, Heather, to the team. As does Chris again. Evening to Simon. Evening to you. Evening to Joshua. Just checking I haven't missed anybody. And evening, of course, to the wonderful Dreety is with us as well. Lovely to see through the.
Can I just say as well, Sam, right? And I did say it at the end of my non-league podcast last night, but Dreety was so nervous going into the Women in Football interview, and she absolutely smashed it as coach. So honestly, I'm so proud. So I just wanted to give her a special shout out again, because honestly, she was texting me like, I'm so nervous, and she had no. But she's a pro. She'll be hosting us, dude. She'll honestly be chasing us for our jobs, that girl.
This is it, be smashing it. I can agree, because I've edited one at the episode, and Dreety were fantastic. So I echo what Charles says, absolutely brilliant. And Graham is really looking forward to these Women in Football series. So there you go, bit of hype. So there we are. I think we've said hello to everybody. We've done our introductions. Should we talk a little bit of football? And shall we start with? We're going to start with Tottenham Hotspur, because there's been a couple of big news around them. And I know, Shah, sad for you as a massive Heung-min Song fan, there will be no Heung-min Song at Tottenham and, maybe the Premier League. I'm not sure his destination set yet, is it? But Heung-min Song is going to be leaving Spurs. How does that, to nick a quote from Josh, how does that make you feel?
Do you know what? This one actually hurts my heart, because I love him as a player, like watching him and watching his journey at Spurs. I just think he's such a really good player. And his interview as well. I watched his interview when he was tearing up, and it just is one of them people in football who people describe as the good guys in football. It's so lovely. It comes across as such a gentleman as well, but not just that, it reflects on the pitch as well with Son, and I'm really going to miss him, but also just what he's done for the Premier League. I just think he's such a good player. He's absolute quality, but I do feel like it is a good time for him to go, because obviously Thomas Frank's coming now. It's a new Spurs, and we could see, obviously last season, he's just not got the legs anymore, bless him. I know he has been rumoured to go to the American League, so that could be pretty good for him as well. Another big name over there. I know they've got Messi now and the likes of that over in that league. I think it'll suit him that bit better. But I just feel like, as football fans as a whole, they've not only lost a great player in the Premier League and someone who everybody respects, but just a gentleman he is. He's always got a smile on his face playing football. You can see he's just happy to be there and happy to be part of it. And he's such a humble human being as well. And I love that about Son. I'm tearing up now talking about him, Sam. I love him, honestly.
the emotions of the leaving of Son. I say he has been a great ambassador for Spurs as well, for Asian football, I think, over as well. And so the chat is saying he's going to LAFC. Agreed with Simon saying going to LAFC, and Joshua, it's official because Fabrizio Romano is here. We goed it, so there we go. That's the official confirmation. It appears it does, and I'm guessing Dylan just enjoys Port Vale, so I don't think Son's going to Port Vale. If honestly, I'm honest,
if nobody knows Dylan, he's a Port Vale fan, and bless him, he does tell us every time. No matter what show, he'll tell us he's a Port Vale fan.
This is it. Support your club. Support your club
exactly.
to the end. We do. We love it. So, I mean, it's over 300 odd appearances in the Premier League. Over 127 goals he scored for Spurs in the league as well. Finally ends with the trophy. Heather must be a sad one, say, for a club. When you lose a club legend, it's kind of like a double whammy as much as losing a top player, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's probably similar to when Eddie left us and when Adam Smith eventually retires. Because he just, I mean, about 3 years ago, we said, oh, he's losing his legs. You know, somebody's going to come in and take his position. But no, he just seems to keep going, actually getting better. So
Yeah, it's a big loss. They didn't feature as much last season because there was lots of other players coming in at sort of Spurs, but the season before he was kind of right up there, wasn't he? Goal scorer charts as well. It's drop off him quite quickly.
And
for him.
And as Shaw said, he's just seems such a lovely person. Obviously, we've not met him, but just everything that you see about him is positive, and he just seems so lovely. And the fact that all the other players, kids go to him, and that tells you a lot, I think.
And I think to be at a club for such a long period of time and say that they finally got their trophy last season, as much as I didn't wish they did, but they did.
No.
Yeah, you can't write it off. They did, and it's a big moment for Son as well. Where at a time where Harry Kane moved on to kind of go and get trophies, there was lots of opportunities. I think for Son, I remember a few seasons. I think Liverpool were interested a couple of seasons ago, 2-3 years. He's kind of stayed loyal to them. And so interesting to see. Obviously, the American League completely different, but it's a Son. Obviously, Tottenham meaning a lot to him. Simon says not the same player without Harry Kane next to him. I think it's fair to say Tottenham are a different kind of team now. Anyway, obviously Solanke coming in last season, but they also had other things around that, and they're also going to be different under Thomas Frank. But we do. Rebecca was in the chat as well, who's very happy because Accrington is winning 3-0. 3-0 with the third for Josh Woods in the ridiculous EFL preliminary.
Oh, it's
round.
against Oldham as well, isn't it?
It is against Oldham.
Yay!
It's a podcast derby.
Sorry, any Oldham fans watching as well. I'm sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Absolutely smashing it. And yes, do not fear. Rebecca is not here, but she has done a Scottish Premier League roundup.
It's the only reason I'm here, Sam. It's the only reason I'm here.
It is. And I can tease for next week when Rebecca is back. We have a graphic for it next week as well. So it's becoming a segment, a proper segment. But Shaw, obviously, so with Son going out, it's a kind of a new look Tottenham. Thomas Frank's kind of there. We've also seen João Palhinha in at Spurs as well, haven't we, as another addition? Back to the Premier League after his quick trip to Germany and back. What do you make of Palhinha to Tottenham?
Well, I don't know if anybody remembers, but when he was at Fulham, I used to talk about him quite a lot in this podcast. He was one of my favourite players, Palhinha. And I was actually gutted he moved to Germany because I felt like he was the perfect fit for you, Sam, at Manchester United. I think he would have been perfect in that position. But what I like about this signing is it brings leadership. Like we saw him at Fulham, he brings that leadership role, which I think they need, to be honest. They've lost, obviously, Harry Kane, lost Son as well. It's somebody who Thomas Frank can put his trust in. He's got Premier League experience as well, which I think is vital. I know I say that week in, week out on this podcast, but I do think it's vital at the moment. Tackling-wise, he's not scared to put in a hard tackle. Sometimes it may not pay off very, very well.
He loves a booking, doesn't he?
But he does love a booking. He's not one really to have in your FPL teams because he's going to get a booking most weeks. But yeah, he's one of them. He's not afraid to go for it, is he? He's one of them players. It's kind of no fear factor with Palhinha. But I just think he's got one of them steady heads as well, if you kind of know what I mean. I don't know if that's a northern thing, but it can read the game very well. And yeah, it's more of a simple things with Palhinha, but I think that is definitely what Tottenham do need. They need them characters and obviously experience off the pitch as well at the moment. I know we did touch on it before about the European trophy and they did win that, but last season it did show that they didn't have the best season, and I think they need to prove a point now. And some of the players that they have brought in I think have been really excellent, and Thomas Frank's done a really good job recruitment wise, I must admit, with Spurs. I didn't really know what to expect, but I think they've got a very good manager, and the signings he has brought in have been very intelligent, clever signings.
It's a new era, isn't it, for Spurs?
Yeah.
Certainly is. And what they're going to want to do is try and get away from this 18-month manager cycle they've had.
Yes.
And obviously, Frank had an enormous time at Brentford. You'd imagine you're probably not going to get that same amount of time at Spurs unless they go in the direction that they want to be going. But say Palhinha is a fantastic defensive midfielder. He was excellent for Fulham when he was in there. There was something in the chat I wanted to bring up. I think it was about him being a number 6. Just finding, they need a proper 6 now. He's an excellent ball winner and a destroyer, which you get him a lot of yellows, but his passing's not very, very good. Well, I mean, if the midfield around him can work, that can help. He says they don't need their 6 to be a good passer because they now have a central midfield position.
Yeah.
Did also see though, Shard, James Maddison has sadly pulled with a knee injury in their pre-season game the other day. Obviously, the Gibbs White thing has fallen through. That's a big blow, isn't it? So they would have been relying a lot on hoping for Maddison, and Maddison himself, with the World Cup in 12 months, would have wanted a standout season.
Yeah, it was awful, to be honest, because one thing that I really didn't like about it is I know people have their opinions on James Maddison, but on social media in particular, there were people like making fun of his injury and stuff. And I think no matter how much you don't like a player, you never, ever do things like that, because at the end of the day, it's their body and it's just disrespectful. Like what they do, you can dislike a player, but don't make fun when they do get injured. But that's going to be such a miss, honestly. Like, I feel like this season in particular, as you mentioned, with internationals and stuff, it was really James Maddison's time to shine and kind of prove his point and kind of make his mark on the England squad as well, because Thomas Tuchel, he'll have a lot of things like going on his brain at the minute, because there's a lot of talent in that England squad and a lot of upcoming talent as well, as we've seen the under-21s and their victory. And I really do feel for James Maddison, because I really do think every time he gets a run, he then gets knocked back with injuries. And yeah, it wasn't nice to see. Really wasn't nice to see.
No, it's horrible to see anyone go off with knee injury sort of pre-season. So particularly where he'd be wanting to do, stamp his place in a more competitive Spurs side. David's with us, champions again. He's saying in 25, 2026. We'll wait and see. Predictions are next week, so wait and see.
It's a Rochdale fan.
This is it. Champions again. It's happening again. It will happen this season. And Jen is here. Wonderful, Jen. Hello, my lovely. Still at the kit release, but grabbed a shirt in all of our community. Excellent. Go on, Jen. Hope you're doing as okay as you can at the moment with what's going on. Morecambe, bless. So exciting, Heather, that you say you got for Tottenham with a couple of new signings in there, etc. How many goals is Solanke going to score now next season, do you think?
It depends what kind of service he gets. Again, it's up to the midfield, isn't it? Because when our midfield improved, when he was playing for us, he suddenly then was scoring nearly 30 goals in the season. Where last season, I don't think he got that many. But again, it was his first season there. So hopefully this year, I'd say maybe 16 or something.
Yeah, he's got some good players around, as you say, more settled probably in his second season. Did he have an injury for a bit last season? I think he was out.
I think he did, yeah,
as well. So hopefully he will. Simon says he hates seeing Madders injured because he's so good with so many O's, and a former Coventry youth graduate as well. And Sean tells us if you don't get the service, you can't deliver the goals. So there you go.
Is correct.
You need an assist machine. You absolutely do. So we'll move on to some other clubs, shall we? Heather, shall we come to you and the opportunity to talk about the wonderful Bournemouth? What's been going on at Bournemouth? I mean, sadly, it seems
not a whole lot. Outgoings. We've obviously Howson and Kirkes have gone, which is two of the back four that we were playing last year. Neto's gone, but he was out on loan at Arsenal last year, and I don't think he actually played a minute there. But he's gone back to Brazil.
Has Kepa gone as well?
What's that, sorry?
Kepa's gone as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Kepa has gone to Arsenal. I think we would have kept him apart from his wages because he did really well with us, but we've got a new goalkeeper in, but that's about it. And a left back. We've got Trufair, who seems really lively and good, but I think PSG are coming after Zabani, and we haven't got a replacement for him, so we're sort of holding out for the €70 million, and PSG are saying no, that's too much at the moment. But if they do come up with it, we're going to have to let him go, really. So at the moment, we're just waiting to see. But we always seem to do our business really late. So
I guess they're waiting to see with some of the outgoings, and say it's more in the defensive positions, isn't it? Because the positive, I suppose, is that front line's pretty much remains untouched. They're all Semenyo, Evan Nilsson, Ouattara, Kluivert are all still set. So you kind of don't need to do a lot there. It's just defence, I guess, is probably your priority.
That is the priority. And Semenyo signed another year deal, but we think that he's probably put a release clause in it, or a higher release clause. So because some teams were apparently coming after him this season, but he has signed on again. So hopefully we've got him for at least another year.
There you go. You can keep that attack together. And you say probably it's just waiting on, say, if it's always difficult, I think, when you've got a big bid in for a player, because that's going to make if you sell them, then they're so integral to your squad. It's kind of similar, I suppose, to Newcastle with Isak to an extent, is that, and then you've got that money, and then you're like, well, once that goes, you obviously need to replace that position. Do you spend it all on one position, or do you go, let's buy 2 or 3 players with those funds?
Well, judging by what they did last year, they should be able to get like a nice young hopeful player in, like we did with Howson, because I think we got him for about 14 million and we sold him for 50. So hopefully they do something similar, but it's just the disruption of losing 3 of your back 4. If he does go, it just won't be good. I mean, we still have got centre backs. Mepham's come back from loan. We've still got James Hill, and we've still got Senesi, but they weren't like the first choice. So
yeah, this is it. It's a big ask, isn't it, to step in, but to a backline that's kind of decimated. Joshua says, I don't doubt Bournemouth's recruitment to replace any of their key players leaving. Just need to get players in. Only signed 2 players, really, and it's not long, is it? We're kind of 10 days away from the first game of the season. So
and we have got the very first game, because we're playing Liverpool on the Friday night. So
this is it. You've got Liverpool away, so a nice easy one to start to win the game with. Yeah, absolutely. And as David says, it'll be Kirkes, of course, will be not in straight away, playing for Paul this season, and would like to have Kluivert next season. Don't be greedy.
No, you can't have Kluivert.
You've got Kirkes now, and you've got Liverpool have had, I think, as good a window as anybody. Particularly if Alexander Isak comes, then I think Liverpool don't need anything else. Yeah. They've had a fabulous window. Shah, what do you think? Obviously, like, you must have it a lot. Say with Rochdale, you've got your players have an outstanding season, and then people will unfortunately come calling and nick them off of you. Do you worry for Bournemouth with, say, some of their talents moving on from the defensive positions?
It's one of them where obviously it's not nice to see. It's a compliment in a way, isn't it? Because these big clubs are coming and they're finding these gems. It's a bit similar to what Brighton and Chelsea, their situation. I'm not worried about Bournemouth, to be fair, because I think it was Joshua who mentioned the recruitment. I feel like has been brilliant. They've got a very, very good manager as well. So I do not worry about them. It's just so frustrating because it's one of them things. It's hard for obviously a lower league club, but then when you've got Premier League club and there's so many people watching the Premier League, not just people from England, it's worldwide and everything, and it's what everybody's talking about. It is obviously going to be hard to keep these players. But yeah, I don't worry for Bournemouth at all. I think they've got brilliant players, and as we saw last season, they play some really good stuff, and the manager I think is fantastic. So yeah,
it's keeping hold of him, that's the big deal.
That's the worry, yeah.
Because he hasn't signed a contract extension, so at the moment we've only got him for another year.
Yeah.
Which is making everybody a bit nervy. And as you say, you can't really odds it. Like 2-3 years ago, you couldn't have thought of PSG, Liverpool, and Real Madrid coming in for our players,
Yeah.
it's incredible, really.
Yeah, that's it. And you have to take the fees. You know, that every player has their price at the end of the day. Yeah. Like, as much as they're important. So at the very least, Bournemouth are getting the fees, and the players that they brought in, as you said, everyone on the cheap as well. So it's a sort of real good profit off of it. And he's a clever man, Iraola, because he was talking about how wonderful Manchester United were on the season tour. So he's gone up even more in my estimate. He's the only one who's given us any praise over the last 12 months, I can tell you. So he did a cracking job there. Shah, one big transfer that's going on at the minute that seems to be particularly today, back and forth with Fabrizio Romano, is Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko, who it seems to be Newcastle versus Manchester United, and it appears that Newcastle had a bid last night. United, everything I've heard from the Manchester United side is they were only going to bid if the player we were his first choice and he wanted, and now Manchester United have put in a bid, I think, to with add-ons 65 plus 10 or something else like that. It's an interesting one because Newcastle seem to have been pipped to every single player they've gone for so far this season, and every time they think they've got another target, someone else comes in. Where do you think, and how important is this, obviously, bearing in mind that Isak is still up in the air as well for Newcastle, from Newcastle's perspective anyway?
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, to be fair. I actually know a Newcastle fan, and they were talking about the fact that they've not really got, I don't think they've got a director in football in place at the moment, and Eddie Howe wanted a lot more say in the signings, and it's not looking good so far. You know how much I love Eddie Howe and stuff, but it's not looking good so far because the amount of players that they've lost, it's ridiculous, really. A lot of the targets. Sesko, I'm with you, Sam, where I don't think Manchester United would have put the bid in because I feel that now in EOS, they've got a little bit more structure in place compared to in previous seasons. And similar to what it was like with Mbumo, I feel like they're only going to bid on players, and Cunha bid on players who they are confident want to come to the club. And it's looking likely with them putting the bid in that Sesko does want to come to Manchester United. I'm just really worried for Newcastle because even with Isak, I don't know if any of you saw it, like, it's very hostile at the minute with Isak. The fans are turning against him. I don't know if you saw the video with him driving off from training, I think it was, or from the ground, I'm not too sure. The fans were following him and they were really angry at him. And I don't know if there's any way back for him in a way. I know Eddie Howe has pointed it out and said in his interviews that he's not been training with the first team squad, has he? I don't know if he's been training alone. And then there's rumours if he doesn't get the move to Liverpool, he's not going to play for Newcastle. And I just think the whole saga needs sorting out because it's not that long now till the season. They don't really they're not going to have a striker, are they, at this point? And it's just not looking good for them at all. I do worry for them, especially considering they do have a European spot. I worry for them in that aspect. But yeah, I don't think Sesko will go because I think with that United bid, it's looking more likely he does want to go to Manchester United.
Yeah, it's a real the Newcastle fans are extremely frustrated off the back of a very frustrated summer, and then for the Isak thing to kind of happen, that it's all spilling out. I mean, I think he trained at Real Sociedad for a bit, didn't he? Then he came back to, as you say, the league's not that far away. He's not training with the team, so they haven't got at the moment a recognised striker because Callum Wilson's gone as well to West Ham, which we'll touch upon later. And then now you've got this scenario with Sesko as well, where then Manchester United come in, and it seems like they're kind of going down a list. I think Benny fan Chris has said they've been linked to AC Milan's Malik Tor, is it? I can't remember how he pronounces his surname, but and it seems like they're having to go down their targets, which suggests that they are getting low because they had Ekatike, of course, was on the list. Liverpool already picked him up. And obviously, David at the other side of this bid with Isak is saying trying to buy 2 to 3 players for the price of Isak and Liverpool paying 137 million crafty. It's got to end one way or another because, as you said, Isak is too good a player not to be playing football. They're not just going to sit him and sort of do that. And I don't think
But they would. The way that Eddie is, I've seen him do it with Ryan Fraser. If the player's being like this, he will just bench him or make them play with the youth team, however good they are.
The problem I think is going to be Isak with that, say he's got the Champions League football for Newcastle, and it's still not enough to kind of. And I think that's where Newcastle fans are so frustrated because they've got Champions League football and they're seeing themselves. They can understand. I think Isak wanted to go to Liverpool, champions. Likelihood is as their favourites going into next year. They're one of the favourites for the Champions League. He wants the kind of trophies, but I think the United side of things has really peed them off because United finished 15th last season, and they perceive themselves as having a better position in terms of the finances, but it's not playing that way because the investor funds are not helping them with FFP and all of this. So it's just a kind of melting pot that having won the Carabao Cup, which I think they thought was going to be the switch, it seems to be going back the other way. I think it's going to be interesting how that all plays out, and I think the head loss, of Newcastle fans, if it ends up at this week that Sesko goes to United and they did say if they accepted a bid for Isak, I think it would be absolutely storms, wouldn't it, at St James's Park?
I do feel their frustrations over Newcastle as well, because as much as I really rate Isak and I think he's a brilliant player, last season he had a very, very good season, but on and off he's been very injury prone, hasn't he? So
he does have an injury record,
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a little bit of a gamble with Liverpool spending that much money. It might pay off, don't get me wrong, and he scored goals as he shown last season. But I do kind of sympathise with Newcastle fans in a way because they've been really loyal and stuck by him through those injury difficulties. And it is a little bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it, really? When you're supporting someone like that, even though they're not consistently playing for you, he's had that very, very good season, and then he straight away wants to go. And I do feel for them in that aspect.
Yeah, it's tough because I think they had in their mind that this wasn't a thing this summer. Maybe next summer it might be the case because I think they felt they needed Champions League football to keep him. Definitely. They got that, and now they weren't anticipating. I think particularly once Liverpool signed Ekitike, I think they thought, well, okay, that will keep their hands off Isak at the very least, and then for them to come in as well and be really hot and say some of the names are like Danny Talks Lead is saying they've been linked to Muniz from Fulham. Now Muniz from Fulham's been a good player, but not an Isak level replacement, to be fair to him. And the pressure of coming in to replace someone like Isak is going to be horrendous for us, particularly if you get a striker not from the Premier League. Even if they were to get Sesko, who, as an under 23 in Europe, has one of the best scoring records at Leipzig, etc. His game, I think, translates better to the Premier League than other strikers. But we've seen it before, like how many players that come from the continent and it just doesn't, or it takes longer, it takes time. And Newcastle fans are going to be sort of really at it. Do you think, Heather, like, do you worry a bit for sort of Newcastle having to try and manage, because they've got Champions League as well? It's a lot of games at very high level to manage if they with or without Isak.
With no striker, and their squad's probably a bit thin now, isn't it, for doing both? They've probably got to either concentrate on one or the other. Depends I don't know which is more important to them. I do worry that, and obviously it upsets like the rest of the team if somebody's being sulky and not playing and not joining in the training, and it just sort of ruins it, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, it puts a bad taste on the start of the season. It should be one of optimism and hope and building on last season. And some fans will still have that. But like, it's difficult as well for Eddie Howe because he would have planned for a team with Isak, wouldn't he? He bought Alanga and he was thinking, he's working about how those link-ups are. Do you think that's a nightmare for a manager, isn't it, Shah, to have your best player potentially linked and someone that was so central to your plans to have to change things up tactically, potentially?
100%. And not just that as well. You think even last season, it was still under a lot of pressure, Eddie Howe, because people were like, yeah, he's a very good manager. He's done a great job so far, but can he take them to that next level? And obviously he proved people wrong. He won the cup and he's got them Champions League football. But you think now he has said that he wants more more say in the signings. It's not paid off at the moment for these signings. And obviously now with the squad that he does have and the lack of quality that he's got up front, I still think it's going to put even more pressure on him and him keeping his job, because I feel like no matter what he does, people still think Eddie Howe isn't good enough for Newcastle, where I think he is. I think he's done a really good job, but there's still people out there who are like, Newcastle, they're a very big club. Will Eddie Howe take them to that next level? So I think it puts a lot of pressure on himself.
I think it does, and I think if we go all the way back to the Newcastle takeover and the reaction to it from not just Newcastle fans, the Premier League, everyone's going, well, here we go. Newcastle are going to be the next Manchester City, the next Chelsea, the next whatever. And I think that expectation, FFP has obviously made that very difficult, which in the past City and Chelsea didn't have that kind of restriction. But that expectation, that's where they're going. That's where they want to go. And they're sort of seeing themselves as like, right, now we've got, arguably the best striker in the Premier League. I think he's certainly, Haaland, potentially some might argue, but I think Isak, definitely last season, they've got Champions League football. They're in the top 4. They won a trophy. Players want to come there. They've got a young, hungry squad. An exciting manager in what Eddie Howe has done, that those, as you said, that could quite easily crumble apart. And then that's when it all gets a bit nasty. Fingers get pointed, managers lose jobs over that kind of thing. It could be pretty heavy. But they have signed Heather. Aaron Ramsdale, so it's all
relegation
okay.
Ramsdale. Bless him.
Do you think that's why he's gone? Just to have one season of just relative safety?
Possibly, and obviously he has played under Eddie before, and he might obviously what happened to Arsenal and then getting relegated yet again, it's probably knocked his confidence. And Eddie is the type of manager that will sort of put his arm around players and like help them along. So perhaps that's why he's like, I just need this year, or I think it's just a loan, isn't it, with an option to buy.
I think so.
But he'll definitely help them at the back. He is a good goalkeeper, because that year before Raya came in, he was their main goalkeeper at Arsenal, and Arsenal was second again. But I think he'll do well there. And as I say, hopefully it will help his confidence.
That's it. I say a move hopefully for him, and say he'll have eyes on England next summer as well as a possibility. Rebecca, oh no, 3-1, getting flashbacks to Tranmere for Accrington.
No, Rebecca.
Stanley. Let's not have any.
Don't do this.
Sean's tempting fate with any 3-3s about the Accrington game. But Shah, flipping that transfer on its head, obviously Manchester United's perspective. We've got a striker called Rasmus Højlund, where there's fair to say the jury's out that's the answer.
He loves scoring against us, though, Sam.
He does. He got a goal against us. He does. Yes, indeed. He had an excellent game. And he's looked sharp in pre-season. Just some of the decision-making and such is there. I mean, but the reality is he can't lead the line, I think, where United want to get to, and the recognition is there. And there's potentially, it might be part of the deal. I don't know. At the moment, it's not in terms of the offer they've made, but there has been rumours of interest, and United have put a valuation on him. But Joshua says Sesko's tall, he's 6'5" and scores a lot of headers, and he does have one hell of a shot on him. Looking at some of his highlights for sure, as Danny would say on the women's podcast, a thunder bastard or two he's got in his locker. Do you think United should be? That's if United said to make one more signing, the striker position is the one to go for? And do you think, is it harsh on Højlund to go, or do you think United have to, at this moment in time with where they're at, be cutthroat and say, no, we need a different striker?
Yeah, I feel like United do have to be cutthroat now, because, and this isn't me calling Højlund, by the way, but I feel like in the past, certain players are still doing that, taking advantage of just basically being at Manchester United and getting a very big wage. I'm not saying Højlund's doing that, by the way, but I feel like now they do have that structure in place, whether it be Ineos or even Ruben Amorim. He does not take any nonsense, that guy. So fair play. I feel like he's somebody you've needed for a while, Ruben Amorim. Personally, I do feel like you need a striker. but I would have gone more for the midfielder kind of role before the striker, because I just feel like, as much as I really like Ugarte, I just feel like you need someone better. And I know you have been linked with the likes of Belieber. I feel like he's very expensive at the moment. I think Brighton would put a very big tag on Belieber. But somebody very similar to that role, I think you really, really need. And I think that's vital, as well as a goalkeeper, not stating the obvious. I did watch that because my little boy in his school holidays, he wanted to watch the game. So I sat there and watched the game with him. And Bayern, I mean, sometimes you're crying out for Onana to be dropped and Bayern to come in. But then when you watch Bayern, you're like, he's actually not. He's a lot worse than Onana at
as
this
well.
point.
Exactly. You're sat there going, get Tom Heaton on, get Tom Heaton on, get Tom Heaton on.
Exactly. It's at that point. So as much as I feel like you did need a striker, I feel like for the moment, the likes of Bruno and Buemo and Cunha could have got you vital goals. And Joshua Zirkzee as well. I feel like Joshua Zirkzee could do a very good job with Cunha and Mbumo. But saying that, if United do want Belieber, I think next season, obviously with his contract, he'll have less on his contract and the price tag will come down, which I don't know if you're going to wait for and buy him then. But Sesko, I don't really know too much of him, to be honest. From what I've seen and the videos I've seen of him, he looks very dangerous, obviously at a very good height as well. But I'm not too well up on him. But from what I've heard, it can't be worse, to be honest, than what you've got, surely.
No, I think this is it. He's powerful. He seems to be strong. He's been linked. He's been a name, I think, on European for a while. And I say Leipzig is a good level. They've been playing European football, and I think in the Bundesliga he's got a pretty decent record. I think. So I wouldn't say ridiculously prolific or anything. Not like, obviously Gyökeres in Portugal's kind of level, I think, in terms of that goal scoring just yet. But again, teams and how it fits in. I think it's an interesting one because you say there's now more firepower with Cunha, with Mbuemo, if you add a striker in there. And I think it's how they link. And I agree with you. I think Zirkzee becomes an interesting thing next season because he'll drop in a little bit and Mbuemo might sort of go on beyond. And I think the interesting thing for me with the midfielder is where they fit Bruno into all of this as well. Bruno maybe goes back to a little bit more of an 8. Heather's got another name for me.
And you're also forgetting about Mason Mount.
I was gonna, I was waiting.
my friends that were watching the summer series said he seemed like a new signing.
He did.
So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I'd be happy because towards the end of the season we got some Mason Mounty performances, didn't we? Say that
we did.
In the Europa League, we just had those. The problem is, but you have a great performance and then you have like an anonymous performance, and then the anonymous performance came in the final, sadly. But I think, I want to see him fit, get in that run, and I want options, and I think that's what Amorim wants. He wants competition because there's no European football, so the squad's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
He's still trying to get rid of 3 or 4 sort of other players that aren't going to be in the team. But then you've got players like, and Davis is here, Kobe Mainu. Kobe Mainu's been one that has almost been kind of forgotten last season because he had a bit of an injury, didn't kind of fit in, Amorim didn't really seem to sort of use him in midfield quite as much. We had, you've got Casemiro, who I think, you need to have a lot of protection around if you're going to play Casemiro.
He was still there. I genuinely forgot he was still there.
I don't want to see Casemiro and Ugarte in the same team again. That is an absolute no.
Yeah.
But in theory, with Mount, with Mainu, with Fernandes, there's names. I agree. Like if United want to get to the step, there's midfielders to do. But I think this, as we know, it's a multiple transfer window job, and I think they're almost better saying, right, let's sort the front line out with what we've got.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper's still a possibility. There's some rumours stuff may still continue to happen with that. And Arna's out injured at the minute anyway. So yeah, it might be buy and deal on day one.
Haven't you been linked to Donnarumma?
We have, and I'm trying not to get excited because that seems ridiculous.
love him. He's one of my favourite keepers.
I mean, to go from the Champions League winning goalkeeper to come and sit 15th in the Premier League, I'm not sure why he would come
like
apart
a
from money.
challenge.
Maybe he wants. Maybe he's like, I'm bored. I'm not getting enough shots at me.
He wants to play with Harry Maguire.
Wow, I can absolutely understand
That's
it.
That's a selling point. That is why Cunha and Mbumo came, because they thought Harry Maguire up front and they can create the chances. Perfect.
Like, do you know what it is? It's ever since in that Euro final when Harry Maguire hit the postage stamp of his top rank, he went, "Who the hell is this guy?" Literally, I have to play with this man. I have to play with this man. Joshua, as a United fan, says Mason Mount has been good recently, especially his goals. He says the only thing I worry about Sesko is that he's young, also young, and you need to hit the ground running with someone like Watkins who has Premier League experience. And yes, we've been linked with Donnarumma, Lamens as well. Emi Martinez, of course, was linked to and João Victor, of course.
Excited.
lots of rumours on the goalkeeping front. Heather, is there any other transfers that have caught your eye? Any exciting ones that you've gone? Oh, that's a good transfer. They've got a good buy there.
Not really. It seems like relatively quiet at this time. Like there was a few at the beginning of the window, and there's obviously all the talk around Alexander Isak and that sort of thing, but nothing that's like really out there.
No, nothing. Nothing. Well, Bizarro Land. There's always one that comes from Bizarro Land of anything yet.
Yeah.
Have you seen? I think one you wanted to talk about, Shaw. I think, of course, Dewsbury Hall is one that's been linked pretty recently. Of course, had a move to Chelsea, not really kind of the game time, which I don't think anybody's surprised with the level of size of squad that they had. Yeah. But I mean, Everton potentially. I mean, they've been quiet, super quiet so far in the window. I think even David Moyes said that they seem to be struggling to attract people, which he was surprised about. But what do you think of that potential?
I like Dewsbury Hall, to be honest. I think he's quite a consistent player. He's not the best defensively, but it brings a lot of energy to obviously that midfield and stuff. I've always really, really liked him. But yeah, it's not a pure playmaker, but I do feel like he's very hardworking and he does thrive in those transitional games. And yeah, I feel like it's something that Everton really do need, that bit of energy and stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing him, because I've always really, really liked watching Dewsbury Hall, to be honest.
I think he's a good technical player. Yeah,
it really is.
And I think it would be a good thing for him. I think he's the sort of player that could potentially thrive at Everton. What do you think, Heather, of Dewsbury Hall and Everton's interest?
I think he would be a really good fit for them if they can manage to pull the deal off. And obviously, players might be more excited about going there with the new stadium and everything. Whereas going and playing at Goodison, I'm not sure they would have been that excited about.
Yeah, I think they were hoping. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed because I was thinking after last season, I was thinking at the end of last season where I was going to go for some of my predictions. I was thinking Everton are going to be. I think Everton. This is the thing. But then you kind of look at the transfer window and it's a bit uninspiring in terms of what they've done. I mean, Rebecca said the other week they've let Calvert-Lewin go at the start of the window, and she's concerned that their major signing might be him coming back at the end of the window.
Imagine.
Which is not good. Joshua says they need bodies in the squad after losing 13 players due to contract expiries and loan. And Graham mentioned struggling to convince players to play in the stadium called Dicky Hill. Rebecca's not having any of that, Graham. She won't entertain it. She won't have it. So yeah, Dewsbury Hall, an interesting one, Shah, and a team we mentioned the other week. West Ham aren't doing an awful lot. They seem to be linked to a goalkeeper. But what's going on with West Ham? Like, they seem to have dropped off a poor season last season.
Yeah.
The Potter thing hasn't really happened. What's going on?
It's a mad one, because I feel like, and I know we'll talk about it in our predictions and stuff, but I feel like with Graham Potter, he should really be making a statement, because I feel like he'll be one of the managers who will be under pressure. Because as we've seen in the past, West Ham fans, even when you win a trophy, they're not happy. So I feel like he will be very under pressure. I know they did sign Kyle Walker-Peters, was it, recently?
Walker-Peters, yeah, correct, yeah.
And then obviously Callum Wilson has gone there on a free. And I think they've signed a goalkeeper today. Is he just called John? From what I'm sure it's a Brazilian called John or something. No, genuinely. I don't think I've made that up. Please check.
It's the Botafogo. It's the Botafogo queue. I think I remember seeing it in the Brazilian list. Yeah, the most.
I'm pretty sure
I don't know. It must be pronounced John or something. Tell us in the chat how is it pronounced, or is it just John?
John.
They've also just got somebody from Leicester that I can't pronounce the surname of. Mads Hermansen or something.
Oh, Hermansen. Yeah, he was all right last season. Actually, he wasn't too bad. Yeah, they just seem to be buying lots of goalkeepers. They do know they can only play one, don't they?
No, I thought when I said it, I'm sure I saw that somewhere, and I've not just dreamt it. But yeah, it's like even Callum Wilson. To be fair, like when he's playing, he can get you goals, but obviously
if he stays fit,
exactly,
which is
that's
an absolute task with him.
That's really what concerns me, because I feel like with West Ham, they have been very underwhelming, especially last season as well. And with someone like that, when on his day, if he is fit, he will get you the goals. But it's very rare that happens because he is very, very injury prone. So I do feel like that is a very big risk. And
he's getting on a bit now, isn't he?
He is.
This is it. I think it's going to be hard to hang your hat on him, say, for a consistent season to constantly be up there. Obviously, Kudus has gone. And the one that then I found this odd last season, one that hasn't really got talked about too much, is what happened with Michail Antonio. Like, that horrendous car crash, and, it's changed his stuff, but also the fact they say he's not in the squad again this season. So, it's a massive one. And he'd been such a consistent, reliable part of that West Ham team that kind of, and there's a reason why he played for multiple managers up front for a long period of time, because it kind of worked, and everyone's sort of forgotten about him, which is sad to an extent. I'm sure West Ham fans haven't, but which has been a big miss for them, and so they've got the Kudus money. You'd imagine some stuff kind of might happen there, but you go through that West Ham side now, and it's kind of like outside of Jared Bowen, you worry a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, especially is Souček still there?
I think Souček's still there. Yeah, I know Kufau went, didn't they? Like they lost him. Like he's gone last season. They've got a plethora of centre backs, and Wan-Bissaka went last season there as well. So there's players that were, do you know what I mean? But in terms of changing
goals
a game
and stuff, yeah, especially goals, and it does put a lot of pressure, obviously, on Jared Bowen. And we've seen how good he is. And to be honest, I feel like he's one player who doesn't get the credit that he deserves, because he has been brilliant. And I really hope one day he does get his dream big move. Like I really do like what he's doing at West Ham, but I feel like he's one of them players that is deserving of a big move, because it's just so good. But it does put a hell of a lot of pressure on him, because outside of Bowen, I don't really know where the goals are going to come from. And this is why I say about Graham Potter being under a lot of pressure, to be honest, because as we saw last season, and I don't really feel like they've improved massively, to be honest.
No, they've gone, they had a poor start last season, and nothing kind of really changed, did it? They had their moments, but nothing major. David says, gave their best player to Rochdale on loan. What about Ray Winston? Star.
Oh, yeah.
Legend of Ray Winston.
That came from, he's actually sponsored one of our players, Ray Winston.
Cool.
Casey Petit. May I point out as well, his dad followed our podcast last night, so I am claiming that. That is our claim to be.
Shah has already got an assist in this season, straight off the bat. FPL points straight away.
So I'm buzzing, but he actually sponsors Casey Petit. But it turns out, I think he's part of an agency that Casey Petit is under, so that's why he sponsored him. But he did this video message in like his proper like southern accent, saying, "Yeah, I am not going to do it." By the way, I nearly did then. Glimpses came out, but yeah, basically saying like up the Dale and who he's sponsoring, and from that, obviously, that's where it stemmed from.
Oh, there you go, quality. See, there's links everywhere. We're
West Ham
everywhere.
are also apparently pushing for Harvey Elliott. Seems.
Oh,
Okay, I could see that being
I
a
could see that.
yeah, because I think he's been on the outskirts of that Liverpool side. I think he wants that move because he wants the game time.
Yeah.
And so with what Liverpool have signed, I can't see he's going to get ahead of some of those
I like
names
Harvey
again.
Elliott. I do like Harvey Elliott. I think you can see a player in him. I just think he needs regular football.
Yeah, I
It's a
think
bit
that could be
like
an exciting one.
what's going to happen to Jack Grealish?
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
he's-
hasn't he been linked with West Ham?
I
I
don't
thought
think
he
he's
would have
linked
been.
to West Ham, but he needs to go somewhere, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I thought he'd be nailed on for Villa. I could see the Villa loan with him almost like replacing the Rashford loan role they had last season. Or if they can't, because I imagine that the funds for Grealish would still be quite high. But
Yeah, City still needs to play like half his wages or something.
He'll be on a sort of a hell of a deal. So yeah, that's an interesting one. That's kind of gone quiet, isn't it? Like what's with Grealish? But this is the thing. There's still so much of the window left. We've got until the end of the month, which is crazy. I think because the season started, we're like, this team need to do this, and you forget how much stupid business gets done at the end of the window, doesn't it? And you end up with a completely different team by match day 4, which makes it fun for everybody with FPL teams trying to navigate that joy. Which do not fear, the Absolute Football Podcast, Fantasy Premier League will be sorted out by the weekend. It's on my list of stuff to do, so we will confirm that to everybody. If you were in it last year, I think you just roll over and you're in it next year.
It does.
People need to remind me to do my team because I'm really good the first few weeks and then I end up forgetting and then I end up with going back on it, having to play my wild card because there's so many injured players, and then I forget all about it again.
It's a tough one, and this year I think they've added more defensive points as well. It sounds like there's stuff I need to look into. It's going to be tricky this year.
I think they've given you double the, I don't know what they're called, but like the wild card, the free hit and all that.
The chips.
I think.
Great.
Yeah, I think you get one before the 19th game and then another one after.
Oh, nice.
That would be nice. Yeah, that's double chips. Double
Just
chips.
need to remind everyone. That's everybody's job. So I'm giving it to not just you guys, I'm giving it to a whole collective of people now. Whoever sees this podcast, tweet me saying FPL every week so remember to do it, please.
FPL is the key. And Graham says we should have a prediction league too. We should have a prediction league. We need somewhere where there's a prediction league. I would say Super Six, but I'm in one kind of like at work and whatever, and I can't cross my usernames are all over the place. So that's a bit. But and that only does 6 games, but there is one I know of. I think there's a Predict the Premier. We'll have a little look into it and see if anybody knows of one we can use. I do have one that I do use. Potentially, we could set up a prediction league. So I think that.
Do you remember our predictions, Sam? What we used to do every week, like
we
a
did.
few games. That was really fun.
Yeah, we should. Well, potentially we might do that. We'll think into it. But we might only be able to do it with who's on, depending on if people can be responsive in the group chat every week. I can't imagine we're going to get everybody's predictions every week. My word! So we might just do it with the people that's on. Perhaps we'll do a few
just
games.
Us and Rebecca.
At least we know we know we're in the top 4. Champions League for us 4.
Scottish one.
This is it. Oh, you're Scottish. I'll absolutely smash the Scottish one. I'm not going Scottish predictions against. Well, actually, to be fair, Rebecca might go for Dundee every week, and it's not looking too good on the basis of their start of the season. So you might be.
And the rest of us would just go for Celtic.
That's it. Celtic every week. Sean wants to know, Char, double chips. Does it come with a pie and gravy, Char? Must do, surely.
It definitely comes with gravy. A pie. I have pie with peas. Sometimes it's a bit too filling with chips. I just tell everyone like my life story. But I do love chips, cheese, and gravy. I don't know if anybody else likes that.
I had cheesy chips, not with.
Chips, cheese, and gravy. Try it, Sam. It's a game changer.
That's a
game changer.
A game changer. I think I asked for cheesy chips up north once, and they looked at me like I was they were going to hang me. So I wasn't sure it was a thing. I wasn't sure it was a thing. They sort of looked at me like cheese on chips.
We just love gravy with it. Gravy on everything.
I didn't ask for the gravy. That's probably what threw them. To be fair, So Josh was understand Manchester United's feelings from earlier today is even stronger tonight. The club believes Benjamin Sesko and he wants to join Manchester United. Man United forward official contract proposed to Sesko while also keep negotiating with RB Leipzig. It's a moving. Stuff is moving. One to keep an eye on. One to keep an eye on for United and Newcastle fans. Any other transfers, guys? Anything else? Anything from pre-season? Say we haven't mentioned the summer series ever too much. Do you want to talk about the first trophy of the season?
Do you want to talk about it, Sam?
Yeah, we won it. It was lovely. I'll be honest, I didn't watch too much of it. It was in the middle of the night and I'm not paying for MU TV, so I watched some of the highlights. That's as much as I did. And yeah, Buemo got on at the weekend. That was nice to see. And yes, it was a massive tournament because Bournemouth and Everton were in it. So, it's a definite one of respect. Joshua says technically second, Sam. Just trophies everywhere because we won our trophy in Hong Kong as well. We did. We beat Hong Kong. We beat the country, Shah. We beat an entire country.
I know.
Massive.
Love it. Massive.
How exciting. How exciting. We don't want to go too much into predictions and all that because we've got the season review show next week, so we're going to do that. But I just wanted to ask each of you, because I saw this on another show I was watching earlier today. What do you both, which team do you think is under the most pressure this season to perform? Who would you think would be, if they have a rough season, it's going to be really, really bad?
There's a few, isn't there? So obviously you've got the likes of Tottenham and Manchester United. They'll have a point to prove because of last season. I think like
Arsenal.
Definitely.
Arsenal come second again and they don't win a cup. That might be it for Arteta.
I think he'll be known as the nearly man. I don't think Lucas could cope with it. I don't think another second place.
Man City as well, because obviously they didn't win a trophy last season.
Yeah,
and they've got a lot of good players. They've got a lot of quality as well. Can I add? I know sometimes we don't mention them a lot, but we need to just respect like the quality players that they have signed as well. And they've got Pep Guardiola at the end of the day. Rodri coming back. I think he's going to be massive for them. They really did miss him last season, but considering he didn't win anything last season, I think Manchester City are under some pressure.
They are under some big pressure, and because there's a few certain noises. I know Guardiola signed that extension of the contract, but it does feel we're starting to come to the end of the Guardiola era. I know they've made some big changes this summer, lots of new players. They made a lot of signings in January, lots now. There's still, if you whisper it quietly, the charges which haven't been dealt with either. I wonder if will we see the end of that this season? Probably not. Hopefully, it's been too bloody long. We'll forget about it.
Will we ever see the end of that? I just think it'll be rolling over.
I feel I'll be telling my grandkids
which do you
about
think
this.
Will be the first manager sacked?
I'm going for Graham Potter, mate.
Potter's not a bad shout. I think Scott Parker. I think
that's true. That's true.
That's it. I mean, he's very good at getting teams promoted. As soon as things start going badly, once he gets into the Premier League, he throws the players under the bus and it doesn't go down too well.
Yeah.
I think it could be tricky. And speaking of Burnley, Dan's arrived at the perfect time.
We're talking about you. Well, not you.
Not you specifically. You're not there. Dan's not getting the sack. No, Dan's here all season. He's in for the long haul, whatever happens. Fan Chris is down the Burnley man. They said David Moyes will walk.
I don't think so.
No. I think he's and Dan says, "How dare you? How dare you?" He says,
"How dare you?" I love
that. I dare because I've experienced it, Dan.
Yeah, that's true.
He's talking.
The other one is I can't remember the guy that's taken over at Brentford that's not had managerial experience before.
Oh, the assistant.
It's going to really annoy me now. I know his name.
I can't think of it.
Really book me that.
Yeah, Keith
Andrews.
Yes.
Keith Andrews. That's the one. And Paul says apparently a decision is expected not before the end of October on the charges. So
we'll see.
continue to watch this
We
space.
shall see.
I'm sure we had this time last year as well.
I think we were told it was before the end of last season, weren't we? I just don't believe it anymore.
No.
Don't believe it. And the chat are on it. Keith Andrews, the goalkeeping coach. Andrews, there we go. It's been covered. Full 360. We've got it. We've got it all. I think that's about it in terms of transfers, isn't it? It's not really a lot else to talk about.
Granit Xhaka going Sunderland.
Yes, talk about Xhaka.
Very good signing for them. I tell you what, I think Sunderland will be a surprise package in this Premier League this season. I know a lot of people write off the teams that have just come up, but I think the amount of players, they've obviously done really well with the Job Bellingham money. They've done really well and recruited wisely, but I think Granit Xhaka is a very, very good one. We've seen what he can do at Arsenal. I know sometimes he's a little bit partial to a sending off here and there, but I just think he's got that bite about him. And yeah, I'm really impressed with the recruitment so far from Sunderland. They'll shock a lot of you.
They will, and it would be nice to see one. I think the Premier League needs another, because I think if we get to the end of this season and the 3 relegated sides have been again, then it's going to become even more of a, it's becoming a narrative anyway, and it would be sad. It's a fantastic thing. And yes, there was one I starred earlier that Sean did give us some news. Aston Villa have signed Evan Gassan from Nice, 30 million, including add-ons. I can't say to have seen a lot of him, but yeah, there we go. Villa do like a good signing from Ligue 1.
I'm gutted they've not got Asensio anymore. He was one of my favourites to watch last season.
He was really good. It just looks... Villa's been such a change inside. When you think, particularly if they ended up... Say if Watkins did end up... They went into last season with Watkins and Duran, and the whole thing was like, wow, Watkins is so good. They can't keep Duran out. And then Duran went kind of really... I'm still a bit baffled by that one, because he was phenomenal the start of last season. That phenomenal goal against Bayern Munich, and then all of a sudden, bang, he was out to the Saudi League. And now, the Watkins is obviously is coming up to 30 as well. So I think that's why United are a little bit on that deal for the figure that they're looking at in terms of where they're going. It's I worry a little bit with Graham. It's there. It's in. Aki have reached the first round of the EFL Cup.
I promise I'm cheering for Aki, not the fact Oldham lost.
Putting it through. And Joshua says, De Gea is coming back to Old Trafford because we're playing Fiorentina in a friendly. So the return.
Oh, nice. I like De Gea.
The Big Dave. Some Burnley news. Dan has got Broja and Leslie Ugachukwu, who was at Southampton last season, leaving Chelsea to come to Burnley. Broja, I'm a little bit sceptical. Big Les is only 21, so I can't wait for that.
Big Les, I love that.
Big Les. But Broja's he's another one who's suffered a few injuries, isn't he, last few seasons. But and Rebecca, get in, Aki. Get in. And Graham says it's better to have Big Les than Fat Les, Dan. He's the
one, isn't he, who sings Vindaloo?
He's the Vindaloo guy. He's the na-na-na guy.
Love it. What a tune.
He is the man. He is the man. So yeah, I think that's it. No further transfers I've got. No further updates on pre-season, etc. But what I do have, and Rebecca is here just in time for that, I have.
She's checking up on you really, Sam, to make sure you do it.
If I switch this off without doing, there would be bedlam, absolute bedlam. It would kick off entirely. So let me have a look, because Rebecca did send me, and to be fair, she I can show you this here as well. Handwritten out again.
Oh,
handwritten.
Bless her.
Not even sent to me I've got it in actual Rebecca handwriting. So here we go. It is the Rebecca Scottish Prem Roundup, which will have a graphic next season. As Graham says, yes, it's Muxam time. It's Muxam time today. So the Scottish Premier League, of course, started. To kick off the season, we saw newly promoted Livingston secure a point away at Kilmarnock after being 2-0 down at half-time. We also saw the first red card of the season being shown to Kilmarnock's George Stanger. Danger. Next up, we saw Rangers, danger. Concede a late.
Another rhyming word.
I know. I hope there's no in a manger.
Ranger. Hermione.
Sorry, Rebecca, we're butchering your Scottish with,
So
with,
sorry.
with rhyming. Rangers in a manger with the stranger danger. Rangers concede a late equaliser for Motherwell's Longolo after Rangers took an early lead through James Tavernier. He's one of the most prolific fullbacks in world football, I think.
Pops up, doesn't he, all the time?
forever scoring. He's the right bag Big Shanks, you know.
Maybe we could buy him so he can play with his brother.
Yes.
Yes, that's it. To continue the weekend of draws, newly promoted and champions of the Championship, Falkirk came from behind twice to secure a point at home to Dundee United in a 2-2 draw at Desmond. Dundee started their season suffering a 2-1 defeat at home to Hibs. Out the League Cup as well. It's not been great so far. Hibs took the lead through Kieran Bowie in the 28th minute, and just 3 minutes later doubled their lead, and Bowie doubled his goal tally. Finally, it's Finley Robertson, of course. Finley Robertson did pull one back for Dundee, securing his first league goal, but Dundee couldn't find an equaliser, sadly. Celtic started their season with a 1-0 win at home to St Mirren. The deadlock was broken in the 80th. Celtic won a game of football in Scotland. Can he believe it? 87th minute through substitute Luke McCarron, to round off the weekend. Hearts secured a 2-0 win at home to Aberdeen. Hearts took the lead through a Graham Shinney own goal. Then they thought they doubled the lead through a lovely goal from Big Shanks. But unfortunately, he was ruled out for an offside in the build-up. Where's VAR when you need it? Outrageous. Wow. There's no way that was offside. I could see that from here.
Way.
Big Shanks was absolutely stuffed. Hearts did double their lead, though, through Stuart Findlay, which saw them secure the 3 points and sit top of the league after match day one. So maybe a trophy for Big Shanks. Wasn't he? Every summer, Shah, he is linked to a move to the English leagues every year, and it's heavily linked as well. And then the Scottish season starts, and you're like, oh, he's still up there.
Yeah.
he's
Honestly,
going again.
Every season. It's like Sergio Ramos gets linked to Manchester United every season as well. Like even now, when he's in Mexico or wherever he is.
This is it. We get Wesley Sneijder. We're still linked to Wesley Sneijder from 25 years ago. Literally, is this the signings that never happened. And we've also got some exciting here. Jen has said they've sold out of all home shirts on day one. Magic, absolutely brilliant. Still here. It was meant to close at 9. That is brilliant.
Love that.
Absolutely brilliant for Jen, and all the chat are loving it for Jen, which is absolutely wonderful.
Bless her.
And Graham with some stats. Dundee only had 2 shots all game, so not a great side. Dee Reety's given me the muck success of the Scottish leagues. And we do have quite a few. We're going to do the European leagues again next season. We are going to be going around the houses with those, and we are prepping graphics and all sorts of stuff for that in the near future. But we've come to the end. Of today's show. We've done quite a lot. We've done quite a lot in a short amount of time. So that's pretty impressive. But we are going to be back next week with our season review show. So we're going to see how many people can we fit on a pod of the Poddington Peas next week to do the season review, hopefully. And we do have some exciting stuff in the pipeline. Shah mentioned about women in football. I've got a recording tomorrow night, which hopefully will be out Friday, about a charity match, which that's all I'll say at the minute. That will be hopefully at the back end of the week. But we do, of course, first of all, before we go to the podcast stuff, where can we find these wonderful co-hosts of mine on the interweb sphere of interneting? Shah, where can everybody find you?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. I love being on the Premier League show. It's a nice change, so thank you.
You're welcome.
And of course, I am SharXREFC on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. My Her Game 2 stuff is Rochdale HGT and all of them socials. And if you haven't seen enough of me already, you can catch me on Thursday on Absolutely Lower League. And it is our championship prediction show. But we have also got League 1 and League 2, the usual format that we used to do, going over any of the games that stand out to us. So please come and join us and have your predictions at the ready.
do indeed. It's a double one, isn't it? It's a prediction / result show, isn't it? So new graphics are ready. We're all ready to fly. And of course, the wonderful Heather, as I say, made her debut, got through the debut, no injuries, ready for the season. made it through. Where can everybody find you, and tell everybody the wonderful stuff you're up to?
So I can be found at Heathhog73 on pretty much everything: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of that good stuff. And I don't have a page for Her Game Too because I've now moved into the events side of it. So hopefully we'll be doing a big event next year, as it's a 5-year birthday. And that's about it, really. I have got the Cherries Trust stuff, but if you're not a Bournemouth fan, then you're probably not interested in that. So that's it.
Well, there you go. Lots of places to find the wonderful stuff that Heather is doing. And you can find me at Sam Absolute FBL on all of the socials and bits and pieces. I do have a EFL YouTube channel as well, which I recorded a League One video. And if I get my act together tonight, there might be a League Two video there tomorrow morning. We're going to wait and see. Depends how I get on. So I won't promise nothing, because things can happen. But of course, the wonderful place to catch everything is the Absolute Football Podcast. We are here for 4 live shows a week, which is just maddening and bonkers that we are bringing 4 live shows a week. There will be some new graphics going on here. Again, I'm going to point out, Lucas, send me your selfie picture so I can put it on the new graphics, and then we're going to be ready to go. But yes, we do have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8:30. We have Shah and the Absolutely Non-League show. Again, massive credit to Shah's, where I did some fantastic prediction shows for the non-league. There's on last night's, which is very well, of course, in partnership with NL Full Time as well, going through everything National League, because that's back this weekend. Exciting. We are, of course, the Absolutely Premier League show on the Tuesday. As I said, next week is season review, and we'll be on every week chatting the Premier League and European football as well. Freya and the Absolutely Women's Football team not on tomorrow because they're having a well-deserved break after doing 7,292 watch-alongs during the Euros. So they're having their much-deserved break at the moment. But they will be back very soon to talk on all the stuff going on as we get to the new WSL and WSL 2, as they've rebranded the championship next season. And on Thursday, yes, it is the Absolutely Lower League show, which is back. EFL League 1 and 2 was in action, so there's that. There's championship preview on Thursday with Shah and the rowdiest of the rabbles that are ready. And they are ready to share the wonderful stuff that's going on. So we are on Twitter, Absolute Ball Pod, on YouTube and Twitch, Absolute Football Podcast, TikTok, Absolute Football Pod, Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast _, on, what is that, Blue Sky, probably we're there, Absolute Football, and Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. There's so many socials, it's very, very, very confusing. But we are on all of those places, and do keep your eyes out, because there's plenty more. There's plenty more coming. Women in football, guest shows, interview shows, possibly watch-alongs as well, if we can get some interest. So maybe we'll do some watch-alongs during the season as well. But hope you all have a fantastic week. Enjoy the football, whoever you're supporting, etc. Premier League, we're all joint top at the minute, so let's all enjoy that moment before that all gets going in a week or so's time. Have a fantastic week. We'll catch you on the next one. Ciao for now.